Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick and mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I am passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you were meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. I am joined with your favorite executive co-host,
The one and only
Matt Aruda.
Thank you.
And we actually just got in from a dog walk, listening to some of our favorite podcast shows, which has us just extra excited to hop on here and chat with you guys today. And I pitched Matt already on today's topic, and that is all about your circle of influence.
It's a good one.
And I feel like we're still in this, new year, 2024, January energy, that we're really in this season of creating like what we want our year to look like. We're really designing what we want that year to feel like. And I feel like there has been so many great nuggets that we've picked up from different podcast shows, even Instagram content that we've been consuming about, this type of topic where it is coming down to what do you want your year to look like? How do you want your year to feel? How do you want to feel? All of these things that you can curate and then work towards as your sort of overall North Star. And I think that your circle of influence is absolutely a piece of that puzzle, because it absolutely matters who you surround yourself with, whose content you consume, what kind of content you consume, what type of places you go to. So that is all kind of to go to say, like, your circle of influence really matters.
I agree. And I think also that there isn't one bucket of circle of influence that's going to speak to every part in your life. It's not realistic, I don't think, to put that kind of pressure on any one or even handful of people to effectively be everything you're ever going to need through the rest of your life when it comes to properly being influenced or needing to be influenced or wanting to be influenced. So I think there's that expectation right off the bat that I don't think it's as simple as just saying, I'm good. I listen to the same three or five podcasts, and I've got 3 or 5 friends, and we're tight, and I've known them since we were 10 years old, and all the rest. And that's all there is to that. I think this is an evolution, and the season we're in right now, season we've been in, let's say over the course of the last 12 months and change, are not what they were 12 months earlier than that. And they'll likely not be where we're going to go 12 months from now. So I think our circle of influence in that respect will evolve.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that one of the episodes that just recently came out on the Inspire and Move podcast is about friendships.
That's one hell of a podcast, by the way.
Thank you. I really like that episode.
5-star review. If you haven't done it, pause now.
That's a topic that's been on my heart for a long time. And I think it's also something that people don't talk about enough, especially in the world of entrepreneurship. And I mean, for me as a female entrepreneur, but us also as a couple. But that could be, maybe we should do that episode again, me and you. That could be kind of fun.
Okay.
But I feel like this is kind of an interesting topic on the heels of that one, of, looking at your friendships for reasons, seasons, and lifetimes. But I think that can absolutely dip into your circle of influence, because you might need to collect some new people of influence, a person of influence at different seasons of your life, especially if it is sort of like an entrepreneurial journey. What do you need? If you are looking to write a book, you might need to realign who your circle of influence is, because you're going to maybe want someone in copywriting and publishing, or just best-selling authors that can point you in the right direction or make referrals, whatever it may be. But I absolutely think that your circle of influence can change and evolve, which, to your point, is kind of what our last 12 months have been. And it's something that we are really excited about. I also think there is power of having your circle of influence, but as well as an aspirational circle. And that is really fun to jam about.
Yeah, and before we even jump into that, I'll also say that I don't think one should have a circle of influence confused or mixed up with mentors. I think a mentor is somebody, if we're going to obviously go down the path of business minded entrepreneurship, I think a mentor is probably somebody that, might stay with you through the entire ride, through the entire rise, and whether it be because they had been there before or they are able to speak to different parts of that as it comes along because they have that many more years or experiences ahead of you. I think a business mentor is different from what your circle of influence is. I think your mentor kind of is big star 100 feet above you kind of a thing, whereas your circle of influence has the propensity of affecting your everyday decisions that then ultimately always all then get poured into what would be your much larger bowl of life decisions that I think is more guided by a mentor versus your influence that kind of is the ones that you are texting, ones you are calling, ones you are tagging in memes. I think that is the circle that you might be speaking to more so as far as making sure that those circles are tight.
I like that. I'm still stuck on the word propensity. That was a really impressive podcast word. Wow. I was stuck on that about like 2 minutes ago. But wow, babe, that's really impressive.
Thanks.
I love that. And any advice that you have in terms of like crafting your circle of influence? It's not something maybe that you just wake up and you, boom, you have it. It's something that you've worked at designing and curating and crafting.
Well, it also speaks to what we had spoken about on this incredible podcast that I was on a couple of weeks ago called the Inspire and Move Show that where I think your circle is entirely based off of the energy that you put out there. Mm-hmm. So I think if you're trying to attract something, some person, some people that are bringing high vibe, that are bringing good energy, good insight, people that work hard, but not to the extent where they're putting in necessarily 18 hours a day. I mean, if you have to involve in there. But I'm talking about people that are doing it the right way, where they're asking the right questions, they're pouring into you, they're suggesting unapologetically, and not without expecting anything back in return. I think if those are the kinds of people, those are the kinds of circles you want to be in because they help up-level you on a daily, then you've got to be the first one to do it. And so that energy that you put out will naturally attract the same energy coming back. That's just how it works more often than not.
You get what you give?
You get what you give. That's right.
I think that's so true. And we have really seen that just in our own life for the last year.
Yeah.
So I feel like we can share this with confidence because we have done this and we continue to do this because, you do it and you have some of this energy return to you, but you don't want to stop doing that because if that is a circle of influence or just a person of influence that you really want to be in that same orbit with, that's like, you want to put in those reps continuously, not just like a one and done. Because then they have a network and, as we said, like your circle of influence can change and can evolve. So I think that piece of advice is massive. Like that is for sure a golden nugget to take away from today's episode is get what you give, which is already an episode out there. But I think that's an excellent reminder that you can keep coming back to is identifying those people and how can you pour into them? How can you show up? Even like not when they're watching, just do you. And put that energy out there, provide that value and pour into them, into their podcast, Instagram, their events, courses, books.
Yeah, ask yourself, where are they?
Mm-hmm.
Right? If they are at a aspirational, and that's what we're going to go to next, but if they are at an aspirational location of where you have been, or where you maybe in this case have not been before, but that is your closest proximity point to them, then maybe that's the next step. Whether it be they are part of a mastermind series, they're running webinars, what gym they work out at, where are you going to be able to cross paths, virtually or physically for that matter, where you can be in that circle, in that universe, even if it's for a period of time, but you do it over and over again with consistency. And it's a matter of time before one path becomes the same path, or at the very least, they see you traveling in the same direction and you're able to pull accordingly.
I think it is so cool that I feel like, we have these conversations here together on the Inspire and Move podcast, and there is like this foundation of repetitive, powerful takeaways about, consistency, putting the reps in, getting the room, pouring into these people, providing value. This equation is...
It's pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
And it's not something that, we just got hit on the head with like an apple one day and falling from a tree and we're like, oh shit, that's what it is. this is how it's always been,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's the true statement. The truest statement out there is it's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
You can learn all kinds of stuff. The what you can figure out along the way. You will figure out along the way because no one ever actually has it totally figured out before you start anything. So you will figure it out if you want it to work. But what is irreplaceable is the who you know, and they're typically not knocking on your front door between the hours of 9 and 5. You need to go out there and you need to dig a little bit yourself. You need to put in the reps again
Totally.
yourself to make it happen sooner than later.
You need to be really hungry to follow your dreams. Dreams are big plans. They're big things that you work towards, and they don't just happen in the blink of an eye. They take a lot of work, a lot of consistency, a lot of patience, and again, coming back to it, a lot of reps. You're putting these reps in. But to Matt's point, they're not going to come in and knock on your door. You have to go and chase them, and you have to actively seek those opportunities, follow those people, engage with those people, and pour into them and provide that value.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I feel like that could be a great segue talking to that aspirational
Definitely.
circle of influence, because it's sort of been a really energetically matched tie-in.
And look, when you're talking about an aspirational group of people, whether, and again, I'm going to veer away intentionally from the mentor component of this because I feel that's a very personal in and of itself conversation and certainly decision as to who any of us choose to be the ones that we are able to pour into and more accurately have them pour into us to guide our professional decisions. That's not what I don't think this episode needs to be about, at least. But I would say from a aspirational standpoint, speaking to a social circle that you would like to be a part of, that will by default, the byproduct of that is that they will influence you to make better decisions. It's true. And they might serve to an extent to also have mentorship type qualities in them. But I think the day-to-day impact of these people is that you do have their ear from a social standpoint, where so much of the decisions you make on a day-to-day basis, whether it be from where you vacation, what you eat, where you eat, how often or how many hours, let's say, of sleep you get, all of these things are directly affected by the people you choose to deal with on a daily basis, your social circle, if that makes sense. Because if you're hanging out with people that are night owls, and hey, nothing wrong with that, but if you are hanging out with people that are going to the bar 2-3 times a week and they like to have a good time, they like to rip it up on the weekends, and that is just their MO, I will say nothing negative about these people. They like to have a good time. We got a few of them in my life, and I smile when I think about them because they're awesome people. However, I know for certain that's not the way that we would choose to live our life. Why? Because we know that at least 7 to 8 hours a night of sleep is a non-negotiable. And in that respect, my circle of influence, if they're going to be influential, they kind of need to fall in guidelines like that. Otherwise, there's a whole part that they just won't ever be a part of with me, at least, or me with them.
Totally. You're making me chuckle here. I have a screenshot. I think I have a few of them of people that are aspirational to me. Like, I have seen groups of masterminds in front of a private jet, and they're all going to Napa for this mastermind. And to me, that is, I cannot wait to do that. So I have this screenshot in my photos. And ironically, there's been not one, but two of my besties and business besties, I've received the same photo from them. So there's very much my circle of influence. But we also all share this aspirational circle where we're like, oh my God, I would love to be at Brendon Bouchard's mastermind in Napa. Like, for me, that is a bucket list goal, and I can't wait. However far that is, or close, not sure. But it is very cool to sort of even feel that with your current circle that is very much aligned with your business goals, how you operate in your home life, your business, your healthy habits, all of that, but also appreciating these people in that aspirational circle.
And real quick, I don't want to gloss over that. You're talking about a few business besties that are throwing that out there that you have as well. And we'd be foolish to think that's just a coincidence. That people that are as close as you are to us, rather close as they are to us, that they just randomly sent the same picture that you also have screenshotted. The reason why is because you all vibrate at the same energy. You all put out what it is you're looking to get back. We said it off the top of the show, and that without knowing what it is that you were just saying there, hit home on that so hard that you're talking about people that don't live in our house. They don't live in our. We're not showing screenshots as we're making them. And they're like, oh yeah, shoot, I should take a screenshot of that too. No, these people are doing the same thing that you're doing because you value the same thing. How'd you find these people? Were they're so parallel with your thoughts and your energies and your what your wants are moving forward? It's because you put the energy out there. You started it. You put it out there, or maybe they started it and you picked up on it. Whatever the story might be, either way, it attracted each other. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
And we already, consume the content that these people are putting out, or their books, podcasts, courses, whatever it may be. There's a whole slew of them that are doing big, amazing things in the entrepreneurship space, and love that so much. But, we are consuming everything that they put out and probably sharing it with each other, sharing it to our socials. But consuming this, we're like, this looks amazing. And we all strive for this level of greatness and achievement in our own businesses and our brands and our life. And I think that is so powerful to always have things that you are working towards, things that you want to achieve, and one foot in front of the other, doing big things every day, every week, every month, and constantly working towards that dream life.
And the other thing to keep in mind too is, everybody, to your exact point, you're constantly one foot in front of the other and you're always working towards something. And there are different levels of what it means to look for, be a part of an aspirational group. I can think of absolutely easily a handful of people that would fit into that aspirational group of people that we would like to surround ourselves with on a more regular basis from a social impact standpoint, because that we know will move the needle. And I guarantee you, those people who we're thinking of, they have their own group of aspirational people that are also in their own minds so far ahead of where they currently are that they too would also love to get to. My point in all of this is, I don't think you should take for granted, I don't think any of us should take for granted that at whatever point that we are in the journey that we're currently on, that we already are an aspirational group of people to somebody. Mm-hmm. That maybe there might be somebody that you don't know of yet that does follow you on Instagram, or does see you at the gym, or sees you walking on the streets with your dogs, and they are able to connect with you in some capacity, or at the very least, they see a special spark in you that they wish or they hope that one day they will be able to cultivate themselves. And that's an important part of recognizing this when we're talking about our group of influence, to not forget that you probably already stand as somebody's aspirational influence without even knowing it.
Oh, totally. I mean, I feel like there was also a bit of a compliment there, so I'm going to say thank you.
yeah, 100%.
Thanks, babe.
100%.
Appreciate that. But I think there have been so many moments, even just in our last year, where we are living that, I don't want to say like living the dream, but, there are things that we have done, people we have written down that we would love to be in their circle, in the room, so many different ways of looking at this, and it's happened. And so there's kind of the big lesson here of one foot in front of the other, constantly doing what you can to get in their rooms, providing value, pouring into them, showing up. It's all designing and curating. Oh, we have an Aussie pop in. It's all designing and curating.
I'm laughing because I can hear her tail smacking against the back of the wall. I'm thinking, is this going to be picked up on the microphone? Like
Are you painting a picture here?
Yeah, it's hilarious. Riley has got the most active tail in the world. You always know when she's engaged, when she's happy, because her tail goes a million miles an hour, or when she's looking for food, for that matter, too. And I have a feeling that this is, hey, when am I eating dinner type of a tail
pop in, just a little check in.
Yeah, hey, Dad, you good? All good? Just to let you know, quick reminder, cool to go for dinner whenever you're ready. Yeah. Just let me know. I'll just hang out over here.
Well, I was trying to put a little bow on the point here, and then Riley really interrupted that and totally kiboshed my vision and my notes. But I think if we could put a bow on this together, between your circle of influence and that aspirational circle,
yeah,
what would be your big takeaways? One foot in front of the other.
I mean, one foot in front of the other is always a good one, but I think you just you have to know that as much as you are searching for something yourself, that there are other people just below you or coming up behind you, maybe more accurately, that are looking for the same thing. And there's nothing wrong with having your eyes open to what's above, as well as to how you can help the ones right behind. And having that circle of influence constantly being in motion, because I think that's where the most fulfillment comes, not with just what you're trying to get to, but how you can also help people along the way come up in their own journey, how you can impact that.
I love that. And I think this is a good opportunity for you guys to maybe, little homework, little post episode homework of really think about who is in your circle of influence currently, who has this great influence on how you operate in a day, week, month, in your business, just in life, in your routines. I know there's so many quotes out there that talk about, the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If 5 people stay up late, like what Matt was saying, or all eat junk food, don't go to the gym. You really have to think about how do you want to show up in your lifestyle with your business, your healthy habits, all of those things that are directly correlated with the circle and the company that you keep. So who is in that circle of influence for your life right now? And then also think about that aspirational circle. And that's such a fun one to think about too.
It is a fun one.
Because then that is a direct correlation of how you can move forward in terms of showing up and pouring into them. That you identify these individuals and then do some work. Do they have podcasts, social media, books, all of those things that you can consume, share, gift, refer? And it's just a beautiful energetic cycle of pouring into these people that you aspire to be in a network of, and you never know what can happen.
Agreed.
So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you again soon.
Good day, guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to me if you took 30 seconds and shared this on social media, send it to a friend, or leave a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I am so grateful to have you part of mine.